All right, guys.
Hello, hello.
Hello, guys. How's it going? Nice to see you guys again. I have a really cool guy, cool team member from LZERO. Uh, so, tell if you want to introduce yourself. They know me very
Absolutely.
well. They know me very well because I've been doing a lot of workshops. So, please
Yeah,
introduce and yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm Till. I'm the CTO for LZERO. So LZERO, one of the grantees from Coreum. So we've been kind of working on this now for quite a while. We did a couple of weeks ago. We did a Twitter Spaces as well. Maybe some of you would have seen that. But yeah, let's probably wait a couple minutes just for a few more people to join, and then yeah, we'll
Yeah,
dive into everything.
sounds like a plan. Let's just wait for 2 more minutes and then we're just gonna push. Cool,
Awesome.
man. Cool. Let's see the chat. No people are joining. Okay, I don't see any chat. Let me go to Twitter. Okay. Okay. I see that people are still joining. So let's start around 12 a.m.
Perfect.
Let me close some tabs real quick. Okay.
All right. Can see some messages. Hi, Niles. Good to see you.
How's it going, Nels? All right, cool. I think let's start. Uh,
Let's go for it.
yeah, let's start.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So I'll start again kind of quickly, a little bit on background on LZERO. So we're one of the grantees from Coreum. So we're basically building a platform that makes it super easy to create Coreum networks for any sort of testing of your applications that you want to do. It has an unlimited faucet, makes it super easy to deploy applications and monitor the network and so on. And then something that we want to focus on today, especially, is sort of the whole IBC part, showing how easy it is to create IBC connections between different networks so that you can then build cross-chain applications very easily. So basically, it's a cloud-based platform that allows you to create your own private testnet that you can then share with others as well for collaboration or for feedback. So sort of an alternative a little bit to public test nets, but makes it a little bit easier for some developers. Um, so I'll dive first into kind of the platform a little bit. We'll show you how that works, and then it's great to be here with Jay. We're going to kind of do like a nice demo of IBC and talk a little bit more about that. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's get started. Gonna go ahead and share my screen. There we go. That should be able to. Yep, I think
Yeah.
that looks good. Can see that.
Yeah. Perfect.
Awesome. So that's kind of how the platform looks like. Very easy dashboard. You can go and create a network. There's a couple options. So what we're going to focus on is Coreum here. So let's go ahead and create a Coreum network. We can give it some name. Let's call it Coreum demo for now. Give it a description potentially, but don't need to as well. So the next step is kind of configuring your nodes in the network. So for that, we use what's called node configurations, basically templates for nodes in the network. So you can configure, for example, how many CPUs and memory and storage each of the nodes have. If you want, you could use different versions of Coreum. And then automatically what the platform creates is some pre-generated accounts. So in this case, it would create one account per node that has a starting balance of this amount. And it also makes this node a validator. So it's taking some of this balance, and we need at least one node that is actually a validator so that we can have a properly running network. But of course, we could combine this in different ways to have some nodes that are not validators and some that are validators. So I have quite a few different configurations here already. I'm just going to go with this one here, which is sort of the newest version of Coreum with all the new features, but it's pretty standard, just has 2 CPUs and I think 8 GB of memory. I'm just going to create a small network here for now, just one, but theoretically, if we want, we could create as many nodes as we want. And then on the last step here, we can configure a couple of other parameters in the Coreum network. So if we wanted to, we could change, for example, the block size. We could change how much of tokens the faucet has available. There's something called the transfer amount. So every time we use the faucet, this is the amount it would transfer to our address. So we could change that for our network if we wanted smaller or larger amounts. And then what we have, because this is an isolated environment, we have a transaction spammer. So that basically just creates a network that is more realistic. So it would send a couple of transactions between different addresses to create basically a network that is more similar to, for example, the mainnet or the public testnet. But for now, I'm just going to actually set this to 0 so that we have a clean network where we can then see all the IBC transactions and everything happening. So I'm going to go ahead and create this. So it's going to go into pending. We can click on it and actually see again all the parameters that we configured here. And then in just a second, it will kind of start creating this network. And once it's starting, we'll be able to see of what is actually happening here in the background. So you can see it now here. It's kind of running now these different steps of setting up the networks and the node and so on. So this will take just a couple of minutes. So what we'll maybe do in the same time is Jay can go ahead and share his screen and actually create a Cosmos network, which is also possible here on the platform.
Sounds good. Let's do it. So, can you see my screen?
Yes, that looks good.
Cool. All right, guys. So we're gonna do the same thing what Till did for Coreum. Now I'm just gonna create a network for Cosmos Hub because we're gonna be doing IBC transfer later on. So obviously we have to create a network for Cosmos Hub. So obviously I'm just gonna go here on Cosmos Hub to continue. Name, obviously you can say whatever name you have in your mind. You can obviously change it, but I think this is a really cool name, so I will just continue. And I have already did configuration. So maybe tell what do you think? Should I just use Humble Gazelle or just maybe show them? Let's do
Yeah, go
Humble.
for it. Yeah, go for that. Yeah. Just use the one you
Okay,
have.
let's do.
There
Let's
you go.
do. I have already created this node configuration, but I will show you what it looks like. So I will just do continue. I will just what I'm gonna do here is I'll just do 0 transaction spammer and done. And now let's go to the node here. And as Till mentioned, it's gonna be obviously it's gonna take a little bit of time here because it's gonna start validating, and there's some execution that's happening on the back end where you're gonna see exactly you can see guys
Yeah.
here it's just calculating some genesis time, gonna show you the blocks, some thread information, and yeah, so that's for Cosmos Hub, guys. And Till, is it
Yeah,
done
I
for
can
you?
jump back to mine. I think mine is pretty much done. If we go back to my screen.
Okay,
There we
sounds
go.
good.
Yep, that's my screen. Yeah, I think it just finished. So you can see all the steps are done now. Here's obviously all the logs from that. So I just want to kind of show you while the Cosmos Hub network is being created, just want to show you some of the things that we can do with the network once it's running. Um, so the first thing is actually here we can see the pre-generated address that I told you about. So we have one node, we have one pre-generated address, which is this one, and we have the mnemonic here, so we could use that to add this account to our wallet. So we have it in our docs available. You can kind of follow the tutorial there to just add that to your wallet. We have the faucet as well, so theoretically you could even add the faucet to your wallet. But you can also just use this easier interface here, where, for example, if I wanted some more tokens, I could just put in my address or any other address in here and basically send myself some tokens. And this is, as I said, an unlimited faucet, so I could keep doing this and get more tokens into my address so that I can actually test my applications the way I want to. By the way, actually, something I forgot to mention is that obviously all of you can follow these exact same steps yourself as well. So you can sign up to this platform here, LZEROanalytics.com. Everyone gets $50 of free credits where you can actually create these networks and play around with it yourself. But yeah, the next thing is we can here then see basically some of these services that we have in the network. So obviously we have the node. We have created one Coreum node. So the node exposes basically a couple of different ports for us to interact with the network. So we have our own RPC, which we can use to send transactions or deploy applications or even query something about the network. We also have an API and some Prometheus as well to do more monitoring. We have a couple of graphical, like kind of some UIs available as well. So we have a block explorer, for example, where you can obviously see all the blocks in real time, all the transactions and so on. Give it just a second for this to load. It should come up. There we go. So we can see here the blocks being produced. The block time is kind of one second. So there's a new block every second. We can see the validators. In this case, it's just the one that I created. And at the moment, we don't really, oh no, we have the two transactions because I obviously used the faucet. So we can see here from the faucet how I got some of the tokens. The other thing we have, there's another dashboard that's sort of for the slightly more technical people out there. Is kind of if you want to do some more in-depth view into the network and analyze what's happening. You have a sort of Grafana dashboard here where we can see immediately, okay, 2 transactions, the block time, and then there's a couple more which only show up later in terms of unconfirmed transactions, if there's any failed transactions, the peers of the node, and so on. So that's our Grafana dashboard. And then, as I said, we have Prometheus, where we can query a lot of different things about the network if we want to. That is connected to the Grafana dashboard. So if we wanted to, we could build our own dashboards and analyze. So we could, I don't know, check here, for example, the block height and see, okay, there's already 276 blocks produced in this network. Yeah, so this is quite powerful sort of for any data analysis or actually analyzing what's happening in the network. The other thing then, as I said already, we have the node where we can use, for example, the RPC. When we click on a node, we get all the logs from the node in case there's anything going wrong or just to monitor maybe transactions or things happening. We then have direct terminal access as well to the node. So we could run, for example, this command here to check the status of our node or of the Coreum blockchain. Or as I said, this would be the same, basically using the RPC command here and basically checking the status in that way rather than just running directly within the node. So yeah, that's quite powerful. You can obviously do a lot more things we're going to show you in a bit when you have access to the node, and you can then send transactions or deploy applications and so on. I think that was pretty much it, everything that I wanted to show you now. Probably the network for J now is also running, the Cosmos network.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's all good, right?
Yeah, it's good. So let me send you the mnemonic.
Yep.
Just give me a second. So guys, I'll be sending my mnemonic. So let me just send it to Till, and I'm gonna be also sending the RPC URL that's given by the LZERO platform. Let me send it to you. Okay, I send you the mnemonic, and I'm just sending you the RPC address, and boom.
Awesome. So yeah, the reason why we're doing this is now to basically create the IBC connection between the two of our networks. So I obviously need the RPC for the Hermes relayer to connect to Jay's network, and then it needs a mnemonic because it needs an account basically to be able to do to issue these transactions on the chain. Um,
Yes.
so maybe yes, maybe I don't know if maybe Jay, you want to just give like
Yeah.
a very brief on like how IBC works. Maybe that would be helpful for some people.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So, like, just to give you brief information, what is IBC? Obviously, it's inter blockchain communication. So, how communication happens is that, for example, right now we're just communicating with Cosmos Hub and Coreum. So, between Cosmos and Coreum, we have something called relayer that relays the information from one place to another place, and we also have channels. So for every chain, there is a different channel. For example, for Cosmos, it's going to be a different channel. For Corium, it's going to be a different channel ID. So obviously, you have to specify that. So in that, obviously, that's how you can communicate with the two chains. And we something called light clients. So they pretty much uh, they pretty much it's like a software light client software, where basically it's just like let me you know what let me send you some really good resource that already have for this for IBC. So let me just send. So yeah, as I mentioned, like obviously, it's like a type. So Litecoin is basically a type of blockchain that allows you to interact with the blockchain in a lightweight client manner. So instead of storing the entire blockchain, a Litecoin only downloads some necessary parts. For example, such as like block headers. It's gonna verify the integrity of the chain, and it's a really key component in the IBC manner, and that's how the IBC works. It's important to know that what is relayer, what is channel ID, what is light client, and how it verifies the integrity of the chain. And then, yeah, right now we're gonna be using Hermes layer. That's Till is gonna show you how it works. He's gonna be relaying the information from Corium to Cosmos Hub, and I'm gonna do Gaia transfer to Corium. So let me go back and share. Till, do you want me to go to the
I can
platform?
go. Yeah, exactly. I can go back to my sharing my screen, and
Okay.
then I can show how it looks like in the platform. So that was great. I think the only thing I would kind of add to that was that the important or the nice thing about IBC is that basically you don't need to trust the relayer. It basically happens all on the chains. You only need to trust the chains, and then the light client on the other chain can verify that this transaction was done on the chain that you're sending tokens from. So that basically makes it very secure, and you don't need to trust the relayer that's in the middle. The relayer only basically relays the
Exactly.
information from one chain to the other. Yeah. So okay, let's have a look in the platform how that looks like. So very similar process to before. We just select IBC here. Again, just give it some name and call it IBC demo. Um, Same again here, we also have sort of the node configuration aspect, but in this case, it's sort of just the node in this case is the relayer. So this would just be sort of a machine that is, relaying the information between the different chains. So we could also give this more CPUs or memory if we, wanted sort of to be able to handle more load. But this should be enough for now. So this is basically the Hermes relayer. Um, so we're just going to have one of these relayers. And then what we do now here is we can basically connect the two different networks. So as Jay said, this would be now creating basically a channel between these two different networks. So when you're
Yeah.
doing this within your own account, it will show your networks that you have. So this is my one that I created earlier. If you want to connect another network, then you need to select custom. So in this case, you could connect to theoretically any other network that supports IBC. So what we're going to do for this workshop here is we're going to just connect Jay's network to this one. But theoretically, if you wanted to, you could connect any other network as well. So in order to do that, I need to put in just a couple of information. So the chain ID, for example, it's a Gaia chain, Cosmos Hub. Then I need to put in the RPC address of one of the nodes that Jay gave me, also the gRPC, which in this case is in this format, and then a little bit more information about the network itself. These are all kind of the standard parameters that we chose earlier, but obviously depending on the network, you would have to adapt this slightly. And then the last thing is the mnemonic here for one of the accounts. You can see for my network, it filled all of this out automatically. But then, yeah, I can kind of create this. Looks kind of exactly the same. Again, sort of the deployment process here. Just slight difference is that this is a lot quicker than creating the network, because we're not actually creating a blockchain here. We're just creating the connection between the two of our chains. So we can see already now Hermes has started. So the relayer has started. And so the channel is being created. So what we have here now is basically, again, sort of the service that is running. We also could interact with that through an API or get some monitoring data. But we can do all of this here in the platform by having access, again, to all of the logs for Hermes. We can see here there's already some things happening now between the networks. And then we obviously have terminal access to interact with the relayer. So we could run, for example, commands like checking the health of the chains and of the connection. So this will show us here, chain is healthy. For this is Jay's Cosmos Hub network. And then this one is my network, and both of them seem to be healthy. We can also actually query the exact status of our channel. So we could run a command like this, query channel, then the chain would be for my own one, for example. The port is called transfer, and then what we said, you need to specify the channel. So in this case, because this is the only channel we just created, will be channel 0. So this should give us some information about the actual channel. So we can see here the state is open. So now we've basically created here the connection between our two different networks. So what we can do now that this connection exists between the two of our networks, what we can do now is basically transfer tokens between our networks.
Yeah.
So you can try that out. So what I'm actually going to do is I can give Jay one of my addresses. So I'm just going to use the pre-generated one here, and I'll just send that to Jay quickly, because then he will be able to now basically go into his network then, and actually send a transaction, send some tokens to my network. So,
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you, Till. Appreciate it. All right, cool. So, James, can you guys see my screen?
looks good, I think. Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. So what I'm gonna do is that I will just do Gaia D. We're gonna say transaction, and I'm gonna do IBC transfer, and then I will just simply do the it was transfer channel 0, and then it was the address. So you have to send me the address. Okay, so I'll just copy the address. Boom. And there was, so I'm gonna just copy this. Okay, so guys, what we're doing here is we're just doing a transaction of IBC transfer. I'm just doing transfer to channel 0. I have just pasted the address that was given by Till. I'm doing 1000 stake from the faucet to chain ID is testnet 1, and then obviously there is a fees 10 stake, and there is a key ring backend test. So now I'm just gonna run this command. So there will be a transfer from Gaia to the DevCore account. So let me just execute this command, and boom, I have executed this. So let's just wait first.
Might
Okay.
been something wrong. Let's see.
Uh,
Yeah, it might
okay.
just, you can just try again. It might be that the channel is not fully working.
No, hang on. Okay, let me try this out. Okay, so this, let me make sure that I'm pasting the address correct. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. This should be good. Okay. It seems something is wrong.
Test cancel transaction. Okay.
Yeah, we can check. That's the nice thing about it. It's quite easy to kind of check on my side as well of the logs, or if there's anything that kind of came up there.
No worries. Yeah, let's do this. I'm just
Right.
checking these. Okay,
Yeah,
everything
for sure.
is good. Okay, let me try this again. If not, then I will just send it to you. Then obviously you can try.
Yep, for sure.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay, now I think it's
Yeah,
working.
that came through. Yeah.
I actually had to clear. Okay, now it's working, guys. So
Yeah,
that's
nice.
pretty cool. If you can see right here, the receiver is the Coreum address, and sender is obviously me, the Cosmos address. And there's a source channel, which is channel 0, and the source port is transfer because I'm transferring to the receiver, which is till. And you guys can see right here, there is time out height, which is 1844. There's a revision number. There's a timestamp that was just showing you the timestamp, and there's an amount that I've sent, which is 1,000. Um, yeah, so this is the information, and this is the transfer logs. Until if you want to just show it on your.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was just having the block explorer open, so we can see here there's the IBC received, right? So the channel was opened originally, and then we got obviously the IBC transaction that was received. What we can do it also the other way. So obviously, Jay, if you want to send me like one of your pre-generated addresses from your network
Yeah.
potentially, like one of the
Yes.
Cosmos addresses, then I can do that as well, and then we
Okay.
can actually see it again in the block explorer.
Sounds good. Let me send you. I'll send you the address. Copy. Okay, I'll send you the address.
All right, perfect. Just a second. Right. So yeah, very similar process for me to go into one of the nodes into for the terminal, and then basically run this command, which is it's exactly the same what Jay did, just obviously a different address, and we're sending the token that is native here to this Coreum blockchain, couple of gas fees and so on. So let's see, and that should all be good from this side. So we can see here the same things. We get a transaction hash that we can actually also paste into the block explorer. So we could put that in here. We could see here we basically sent this amount via IBC transfer from the source channel to this address, to the Cosmos address, that's Jay's address. We can we could check our balance of our account obviously and see that these tokens have gone out. But what would be nice actually maybe for you, Jay, to you could
Show
check
the
your
balance.
balance, of your account, and actually show that you've received these tokens, and show the format of that basically.
Sure, sure. Let's do it. Okay. Let's go to the node 1. Okay. Okay. D. We're just gonna query the bank balances. I'm just gonna copy the copy my address. So just give me a second here. I'm just copying my address, and then we're gonna say chain ID, and we're gonna say just gonna say testnet1, I believe. Yes, it is testnet1. Okay, so let me just query my bank balance. Okay, so if you guys
Right.
can see right here, I have 100,000 amount, and it's the denom is IBC this, and obviously there is an amount, and there's a denom of stake, and there's a pagination of next key, and then total is 0. So yeah, I mean that's how you query the bank balance of your address. For example, if you're communicating with your with any chain, you can just query your bank balance, and similarly, what Till showed you, right? So yeah, guys, that's how you query, and Till, yeah, I
Nice.
mean,
Yeah, I'll just do. I think just we can just show one more thing as well, because now what we've done is basically we transferred from one chain to the other, and then from one chain back to Jay's chain.
yeah,
What we can actually also do, because I have access here to the Hermes relayer, I could also actually initiate a cross-chain transfer from the Hermes relayer without actually having direct access to one of the chains. And that's because obviously we have accounts on each of these chains that have
yeah,
some funds. So I could transfer kind of from one to the other. So the way I would do that is I would go into my Hermes relayer. Um, so again, I have terminal access here, and actually the command would look quite similar. Um,
yeah,
just obviously here it's Hermes. I would do a fungible token transfer from actually Jay's chain from testnet1 to my chain. Again, using the same channel. Just going to send 1,000 of these tokens and then send that to my address. Um, so this will basically work the same way it did before. That now the difference is that the Hermes relayer is basically going to say to the Cosmos Hub chain that Jay created, is going to say, I want to send this amount of tokens, 1,000 tokens to my chain, to Till's chain. And that Cosmos Hub chain will then basically execute this transaction. It's going to basically burn these tokens, and then that information is going to be relayed to my chain. With the live client on my chain, I can obviously then check automatically that this transaction was actually done on the Cosmos Hub network. And that way, then I can mint these tokens on my chain and then basically have that amount in my account. So we can see here, there's some information about this being successful. Let me see if there's, yeah, we can see in which block it was included and so on. So that was retrieved one transaction that we basically got here. Yeah, so that's pretty much it on sort of the token transfers using IBC. There's a lot more sophisticated stuff as well that you can do with IBC. You could kind of do cross-chain accounts. You could obviously also call smart contracts on another chain. That would look very similar to how we did it now. You would just call kind of the address of that smart contract on the other chain. But yeah, it's super easy kind of to create this on the LZERO platform, so you can try it out yourself, create multiple networks. You can even connect multiple Coreum networks to each other, or you can connect Cosmos Hub networks to each other, and then really test out this sort of IBC connection.
yes, that sounds really cool. So, guys, let's. If you guys have any questions, any concerns, or any issues, obviously, just uh, we're still here for 5 minutes. Ask any questions. Can you share also here the resources? Uh, I'm not
Oh,
sure how.
IBC, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to send you here. We do have a chat, but I'm not sure if I. Okay, so there's a question with L0. Is it
No.
possible to set help an environment to test ISO 2002 messages? If so,
Nice.
could these messages be passed to a different chain via IBC? Wow,
Mhm.
that's a
Yeah, it's
good
a great
question.
question. Yeah, I like it. So it's actually kind of feeds
Definitely.
into what we have planned with the platform. So in this version that's live at the moment, we don't yet support ISO 20022, but it's something that we definitely want to do because that's one of the sort of unique features of Coreum being integrated with that payment standard. So you could definitely do that and test these messages. And then, yes, because they're then in the Corium network, you could then pass them also to other chains that are connected to your Corium network. So that's then super powerful.
You know what, Till? Niles always asks good questions. He always asks tough
Mm.
questions and good questions. So which is
Yes,
good, right? Which is good.
awesome.
But one thing to mention about ISO 20022 messages, we do have a demo app. So if you guys want to see the documentation, go ahead, guys, do some research on ISO, some intro how the application works, and definitely you can send a message that can be passed from different chain. It can be done through IBC. Obviously, it can be done through XLR bridge. uh, we also have an XRPL bridge. You can definitely send a message from Coreum to XRPL bridge. So definitely it's possible. Okay,
Nice.
cool, good question. Anything else, guys? If there is any questions, we would love to answer you guys, me, until are here for 4 more minutes. Okay. Now welcome. Now thanks for the question. All right. Till, I don't know if you wanna just close out or say something. I don't know if you have something in your mind. I'm not sure. Just talk,
Yeah,
man.
well, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, no, there's a lot of different plans we have with the platform, right? We're still quite an early stage, obviously started kind of with Corium here, with their grant. There's
Yeah.
actually also to mention, there's also an open source component, so you can do a lot of this stuff. Also, if you're a bit more techy, you can do a lot of that locally as well. So you could spin up kind of network. You can test the IBC connection locally on your machine.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's then limited to your resources, right? So for my laptop, if like you spin up 2, 3 networks, it's gonna make your laptop quite slow. So that's
Exactly.
why maybe if you want some larger networks, some more networks, you can use the platform, the cloud platform. But a lot of the stuff you can do locally to kind of do some quick testing. And then if you want kind of large environments or kind of want these additional easy tools like the faucet, and having access to all the nodes directly, then the cloud platform is very good. And then we're kind of looking to implement quite a few more things, like the payment standard is one of the things, but then we want to make it so much easier to actually build applications and deploy applications on Corium. So probably kind of connect that, for example, um, to like a CI/CD pipeline that you can push your smart contract code, it automatically deploys it into one of the networks in the platform, so you can then
It's
share that
cool.
with other people or test it out, test the IBC stuff, monitor the network and so on. So yeah, many
Yeah,
more exciting things to come.
that's super cool, man. So just want to ask you a question, Till. How was your experience with Corium? How was your experience building on Corium?
Yeah,
Any any feedback for the community? Because I know there are a lot of people watching us, so it'd be
yeah.
really cool if you can just give us a feedback.
Nice. Yeah. So it's been really good, I think. So obviously, Corium is quite sort of the underlying infrastructure, the underlying software is similar to Cosmos, right? Because it's built on Cosmos SDK.
Yeah.
So that's really cool, because that means obviously it builds on all of the stuff that 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 community has done, and the community is huge. And then obviously plugs into all of these different networks through IBC, right? You can connect to all of these different networks in the Cosmos ecosystem. So that's great for us as well, because it means that we can
Yes, I agree.
work with the Corium ecosystem, but then also with the whole
Right.
kind of
many other
Cosmos
chains.
ecosystem. Yeah, exactly.
That's the beauty. That's the beauty of Cosmos Hub. There's so many. There's such a huge ecosystem, so many different projects. So yeah, man. Thanks for the feedback, Till.
Awesome.
I think I don't see any questions. Um, yeah. So we can, guys, we can close out. It was a really cool workshop with Till. Till, I really
Thank you
appreciate
very much.
for being here, for doing such a cool workshop. Really excited for you for the future of L0. I like the platform. Really easy to use. I mean, even if I wasn't a developer, I think I can still use it easily. I just need to learn the commands. That's all. Maybe
For sure.
Other than that, the platform is so good. UI is so smooth. Everything is so good. So yeah, thank you. Thanks
Awesome.
for giving out the knowledge to the community. And yeah, maybe in future we're gonna do another cool workshop. Maybe if they integrate ISO or something else, uh,
For sure.
then we're gonna do some full-fledged workshop on Coreum slash L0. So yeah, Taylor, if
Awesome.
you want to.
Sounds good. No, thank you very much, Jay, for having me. And yeah, can follow us obviously and our progress on Twitter and
Please,
everywhere. So
yes,
yes,
please follow, guys. Please follow L0. Is these guys have done such an amazing job. Huge shout out to these guys, to the team. Um, and yeah, guys, thank you,
awesome,
Till. Best of luck for everything. And obviously, we're gonna
awesome.
be talking on Telegram.
Of course, exactly. All right. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you guys. Thank you
All the
guys so much.
best.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.